to that. Oh my goodness.
There we go. I'll change it to that.
Oh no.
Are you gonna do this all night with us, Darby? This is like amazing. I can't believe you had that picture. We were not the most attractive little kids. You were good.
What are you talking?
Scary.
Did you see the picture I posted of you and Johnny Provost? You're absolutely adorable.
Is he holding my hand? I have like 5 pictures of him holding my hand or kissing me. And when we were that
I don't have. Oh, why did that happen? That shouldn't have happened. Hold on. No. Come back. Where are you? There's that one. Yeah, I did that one earlier. No, you're going over the script.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now did either of you see the post I did where you were in like a schoolhouse or something?
Yes. What is that?
I was going to ask you. I didn't know.
Oh, I don't know. Somebody said Big Valley. I don't
And
know.
other people said Wagon Train.
I know.
No, not Wagon Train, Death Valley Days.
Death Valley Day.
Darcy, do you have any idea which one that is? Are you still with us, Darcy?
I'm here. I am still trying to get off the bridge.
All right. Well, let me introduce my sisters here. We have Darcy, which I already admitted it was wonderful. Darcy, the oldest sister. She started her career late in life. I don't know. How old were you when you did your first thing?
1.
4.
4.
3.
Not you, Daryn. I'm coming to you.
Oh, okay.
See, Darcy was a slacker. She waited till she was 4 years old till she did it. But how do I introduce my sisters? This might be rough, but she's great. She did a lot of wonderful things. She did that other picture I posted was from Hawaii 5-0, which she did a couple of great things, but then she fell in love with the guy and decided to stay there. There's only so many 5-0s you can do. So now for, I don't know how many years in a row, she and her daughter and husband have had the best boutique in the Hawaiian Islands. How many years has it been voted #1?
I think 12.
Wow. That's
Dozen. Wow. That's incredible.
that is that is incredible. Yeah. So she brought a little of Hollywood to Hawaii.
Yes, she did.
One of the and so my sisters know too. The only rule I have here to remain a Darby's darling or dude is everything has to be stated in the positive. So just so we stay there. But one of the things I love about my sister, just to kind of tell you where her heart is. Back in the 70s, as a lot of you know, I went to school on a ship. Both my sisters went on this ship multiple times, and we would sail around the world and we'd get educated. Well, back in the 70s, when the ship pulled into South Africa, Darcy didn't think it was fair that some of her friends couldn't be on the same beach or even go into the same restaurants or even do transportation together. So she decided to lead a little protest in the middle of Cape Town with, I don't know, 150, 200 students or something, and marched out to try to stop apartheid in the heart of Cape Town. Of course, they rounded up all the kids, put them back on the ship, and that ship was not allowed to go back to South Africa for like 5 or 7 years. It was remarkable. So that's Darcy. That's my oldest sis, love her, even though she always thought she could be a better mom than mom. And then Daryn. I love this.
What?
Yes, Darcy, go ahead.
No. We'll talk about it after we're off the air. We'll have to finish that conversation. Okay. Let's go on to sis.
Oh, okay. All right. And then Daryn, I love both my sisters so much. Daryn is, so you started at a year old, right, Daryn?
Yep.
And you and I watched the scene where they had you as a baby in arms and you're getting chased and the Indians and the flaming arrows, and she literally dropped you on the floor. And then you had to turn around and watch our real father be shot with arrows and die and stuff. So we've given Daryn lots of years of therapy, and she's actually turned out okay.
But I really thought about that. I thought of that after seeing it recently, Shootout at Medicine Bend. That's what it was. And watching it and watching me as a 1-year-old baby falling on the ground, trampled, and they just keep on going on with the scene. And I thought, oh my God, no wonder child actors have a beef. I mean, come on. How traumatic is that for a kid? You know, what happened? Anyway.
So Daryn was the smart one. She got out, I think, about 12 or certainly by 15 and just said, no, I don't like directors telling me what to do. I don't like the business.
Shoving with mommy. No, I don't want to do the family business. I don't want to dye my hair anymore to match my brother's hair. Well, because remember, she did that on an airplane to me. I'm a young kid. We've got a PR thing on the other side. That's 3 kids are on the airplane, and my mother hasn't dyed my hair yet, and they're pressed on the other side for Darby to do his interviews. So my mother has me in the bathroom of the airplane dyeing my black roots to match my brother. Can you imagine this day and age? The stewardess is bent, and I'm the middle child. So I'm the quiet one. I'm the insecure one. I'm the, and so the stewardess is literally banging on. She started little, and then she's banging on the door. That can kind of screw you up as an older person too. So that's part of the reason I didn't want to be in the limelight.
So she got out of the business,
Yep.
but then became a very successful, found a little band in her church. Daryn is also our prayer warrior, our soldier there. She found a little band, promoted them, managed them. They are Striper. They're huge. They were the first band to play on was it the 777 Club and MTV. And she didn't stop with Striper. She also had the first Christian rock group to be signed to a Russian label, Holy Soldier, or was that Charisma?
Charisma, before the wall came down, it was the first Christian music into Russia. And right before that, we had heard a number of stories about pastors trying to smuggle Bibles in and them never being heard from again. And so we were going in there, and this band was singing about Jesus, and we were terrified, okay, but they signed them and they became one of the biggest bands in Russia. And there were only 3 other bands before them because there's only one record label in Russia. And this is all before the wall came down, getting that music in there. So yeah, that was.
So those are my sisters. I love them. They're all have created wonderful lives and adventures. And Darcy, I can never find her. She's always off used to always be off on a ship somewhere exploring. And now look at her. She's out there in outer space somewhere with the glow of the earth behind her.
Tesla and I have a deal.
But Darby, with you, now the way you got in the business when you were only 6 months old was because of a bet. What was that?
It was I heard it was a joke.
A joke.
It was a joke. Dad, because and because the 2 of you were already working, so they would ask
an actor.
So they would ask my dad, what about your son now? Do you think he's going to go in the business? Oh, I don't know. The kid's a bum. He's 2 months old. He hasn't earned a dime. I don't know. Oh, he's 3 months. Oh, the kid's 4 months old. What's he doing? He hasn't worked. And he used to love that. And it drove my mom crazy. So yes, she put me on a show and made him watch it. Didn't know I was on it. Made him watch the whole show. And at the end of the show, he just turned and goes, Marilyn, you sure know how to ruin a good joke. So anyway, I thank you all. And we don't have any Daniel Boone pictures up, but of course, I have you guys in the Daniel Boone things. I can put that up.
I have my reunion picture.
There you go. That's when you came up, for the DVD release.
That's a DVD release, and so it's all the Daniel Boone cast, and then that guy's Donald. That's Jane Russell, my godmother, and then
it's over the other shoulder.
Donald Duck.
There. We'll start here. That's Fess Parker. That's my boy Nick, Ed Ames. That's Veronica, Darren, myself, and Donald Duck. Not quite sure who he is. Now lean the other way,
The
Darren.
voice of Donald Duck. Which way?
Now lean the other way. The other way. Go the other way. The other way. There you go. And there's Darren's godmother, Jane Russell.
Yeah, at Fess Parker's Winery.
Yeah, like I said, that was for the release. That was a good fun.
That was fun.
All right, have we talked long enough? Should we get this episode going?
If you would like to,
I wouldn't even let you say a
you guys
word.
are, it's okay. You guys are extremely entertaining, so I have no problem with just listening in and watching Darcy get situated. Outer space seems to be where she has settled. So that's good. So stay right there, Darcy. You're good.
I just want to make a note to my brother that my sister talked longer than I did, so you'll be reprimanded for that too when we get home.
Are you taking notes here now? Well, would you like to say anything, Darcy, before we start this Christmas episode in the spirit of Christmas?
I'd like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a very healthy 2021.
There you
And
go.
I love you, Darby. I think the world of you. Couldn't have wanted a better brother. I was always so proud of you. In whatever role you were playing or character you were taking home, you
Even
have
the
been.
rapist, huh? That was.
No, but that's when you were the most popular. When you came over and did the fashion show for me on the stage, and everyone goes, "Oh my God, that's Ian from." I just couldn't believe it. Days of Our Lives. They just.
So when you impress your sister, that's a good thing.
Yes, because people were recognizing you everywhere we went. We couldn't go anywhere that they weren't screaming your name.
Well, that's really the reason why I decided to do a soap opera at that time. My first wife was pregnant with a boy on the way and everything. But we had taken David Hasselhoff, who Darren used to date, over to Hawaii for the first time he'd ever gone to Hawaii. And I was hanging out with him. And wherever we went, every girl from 8 to 80 knew who he was. Snapper, and they were all over him. None of the guys knew who he was. So he'd go to the bar, hang out with the guys, and just be like a regular guy. And then if he turned the other way and women started figuring out who he was, they went crazy over him. I went, well, that doesn't sound like a bad gig. But he did warn me how much work it was.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it did bother me a little bit when we would go with you to like maybe a personal appearance and the women would try and rip your clothes off. That was kind of hard, as a soap opera star. But the best one, Darby, you've got to say it. When you went to the Bahamas 12 years after, and your wife that you're with now had never been with you when you were famous. So she had never had a bunch of paparazzis or anything. But when you flew into the Bahamas, what happened? That was amazing. Such a story.
Yes, my wife is English and doesn't get this Hollywood thing at all. I mean, when she met me, she asked me, what do you do? And I said, I'm an actor. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. So the Hollywood thing doesn't impress her at all. So anyway, yes, we've been married for a while. We had kids there. And we go and we vacation in the Bahamas. And we got in late. It was the last plane in. So there were only a couple people in the airport. And they kind of looked a little weird at me and stuff. But that's okay. And we got the last taxi out. We got to the hotel, had to open it up, get in. And we're sitting there for a couple of weeks. So the next day we go to the market to stock up the refrigerator and everything. And I'm going down the aisle and there's this, lady that's putting the cans on the shelf like this and stuff. And I'm like, excuse me, do you know where? And she turned around and looked and goes, ah! And she screamed, knocked all the cans. It was, you're the rapist. Now, all the English tourists that were in this market, of course, look at me, and the men are, all get like this. I was like, calm down. And they went crazy. And what happened is, down in Barbados, they played Days of Our Lives one day a week. So it was like a Dallas, or it was one of those. So they were 12 years behind. And it happened to be just when I was at the height of my thing, which of course my wife said when, I'd be at the table and the waitresses, would come over to help or something like, oh, we liked you so much better when you had, shorter hair, whatever. Oh, I always go, yeah, and 12 years younger. But that was her first taste of it. And it wasn't bad because, we got a very good VIP tour and got to do fun things that everybody else didn't do. And then I got her thrown in immigration jail on the way home because I let the ego get to me. And that's another good lesson, another story. Let's have the Christmas story.
No, you're not getting out of that one that easily, Darby. So I do have to ask your sister. So we'll ask Daryn first. So when Darby got the gig on Daniel Boone, do you remember that? Did you guys have to sit down every night, every Thursday at 7:30 and watch it with him?
Oh, I did, but he's probably told you how he got the gig.
Yeah.
We heard that story, but we're more curious from your point of view. What was it like to have a little brother that was on this show every week?
Well, the thing is, I was in the studio every day after school. I would take the bus, I would do whatever. So I was on the set. They were my family. Fess was he was my father because our father was dead. So he wasn't only a father to Darby, he's the one that told me because I was 5'7" at age 12, stand up straight and, gave me those values that he does on the TV show. That was all real. That's really who Fess Parker was. But, watching us on TV was part of we were a TV family. We're a TV.
That's what we did.
So that's what you do. You watch, you watch each other on TV when you're on TV and yeah. Right, Darcy?
That's right. I just wanted to say
yes,
that I wouldn't have changed anything in the world. Growing up on the set, Daryn is right. Everyone treated us like family. So proud of you, how you learned all those lines at that young age and what a good actor you were. And you weren't frightened when they brought the bear on the stage, the live bear. You weren't afraid when they brought, you just had snakes in your hands. You were bigger than life to me. You were just an incredible brother, and I love you more than words can say.
Oh, I'm gonna have to pay for this later.
You gave me.
She's being way too nice. I'm in trouble. I can tell.
I love this today with all the pictures. You had to pick the ugliest picture of me. I ripped that up 5 times for Mom. Look at that hair. It is just the worst with a little pony, with a little bow right here. Sorry.
There, is that one better? But see, now I'm there. I'll sit there. Is that one better of you?
No. But there's Dad. There's wonderful Dad. And he's so proud of you. We're all so proud of you, Darb.
Aww. Aww.
Well, Tammy wants to know how much you bribed them. You paid to bribe them.
Listen,
because they're so nice. What were you so nervous about? They've said nothing but nice stuff about you.
I love it. My rock band that I talked about, First Christian Music into Russia, they just contacted me and they said, hey, we're watching your brother on the show he did last year for Hallmark that started off the season. Mistletoe, Darby, what's it called? Something, Mistletoe, Wishes and Kisses.
Christmas Wishes and Mistletoe Kisses.
But they were in Sweden watching it, and it was awesome. And it's still on Hallmark like every week or something. So it's really a good one.
It was a fun show to do.
Fun show.
We're waiting for a lot more.
There you go. Darcy,
so is Darby.
Like a rock star right now, I gotta say.
That's why we're inventing ways to get him on TV, quote unquote TV. Anyways, I guess we could go ahead and get started.
Yeah, we better.
To, and then maybe you'll think of some more creative things, and we'll get some questions. So the way this works, I know Daryn knows how this works, but Darcy, basically what we do is we show like a 19-minute segment of the show. This one I'm actually going to put together 2 segments. So you'll see it dip to black and then come back. So it's about 19 minutes long. And then when we come back where there's normally a commercial break, we'll chat. You'll see me pop on when it fades to black. So just make sure you turn off your camera and turn off your microphone. And then you'll see it.
Go in the corner and you can block out your camera and your microphone.
Stop video.
Might start saying what you really think of me.
Stop video. Is that what we do?
Yeah, you'll click on the camera and you'll click on that microphone. You don't have to do it just yet. Basically, this episode is called The Christmas Story. Its air date was December 23rd, 1965. It was written by Stephen Lord and it was directed by Maurice Garrity. And I think, is Morgan Woodward a guest in this, or was he a recurring actor in your series?
I think he did more than one. He and Fess were good friends.
Okay. I think that was him they saw in this one.
Yeah.
But this one looked like it had a really good message. I scanned through it quickly, so this will be fun. But it has our good friend Veronica Cartwright in it as well, so that's exciting.
It's a Christmas story. Hopefully it has a good message.
Well, you know, who knows these days. Darcy, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you really see all my moves?
Yes, we can.
You're doing a belly dance for us now.
And when we go off, you guys are not off. You're still, I mean, until I turn your cameras and your microphones off. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. My people know, make sure you're posting your questions in the Q&A because I don't look at the chat. So if you have any questions for Darby, Daryn, or Darcy, feel free to put them in there and we will ask them when we get back. So here we go with the first segment of The Christmas Story.
It's no use, Daniel. We haven't seen a living thing all morning.
It's like the whole world had gone to sleep.
It's dead. I remember a winter once when I was a boy. A great many perished. This is even worse.
It's going to start snowing again. Let's look over the west woods before it starts to come down.
What do you want, Indian?
We ask shelter in your cart from the gathering storm. My wife awaits the birth of our firstborn.
There's no room in the cart. This poor animal couldn't pull the extra weight anyway. Move out of the way. Get up.
Do not worry, my husband. We will find shelter somewhere.
Howdy. Welcome.
Don't know where we're gonna put all these people. Been full up since last night.
We've got to get everybody in the fort. It's our best chance to get them through the blizzard.
Top of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe. The rippin'est, roarin'est, fightin'est man the frontier ever knew. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, and he fought for America to make all Americans free. What a Boone, what a doer, what a dream come truer was he.
Here it is, near the end of December. There'll be 3 more months of this frozen over Hades. We'll never get through it.
A fine Christmas it's going to be. The Indians get through it every year with a lot less than we have.
Savages, they were born to this wasteland, this God-forsaken wilderness.
Now, you claim to be a religious man, Elisha. You should know only a man can forsake himself.
Those are mighty high-sounding and respectful words, Boone. But words are not going to put food in our bellies.
Well, you can't put hope in the frying pan, but that's going to be our main staple for quite a while. Now, listen to me, all of you. We're in for a bad time. This winter's turned out to be far worse than any of us expected. But we'll get through if we just stick together. That's why I asked you to come and stay at the fort for a couple of weeks until the main part of the storm is past.
Mr. Boone, what'll we do for food? You know the early frost took so much of the crop, and the game animals, they're gone. Why, there's no fresh meat to be had.
Emmett, we've got prime trouble now without putting in an order for more. Now, we've got some meat salted away, and there might even be some fish in the creek.
Well, if there are, they ain't gonna get away from me.
I seem to remember a speckled trout that's still laughing at you.
Oh.
How can you make jokes when we might be dead in a few weeks?
We're not going to be dead in a few weeks, none of us. Not if we keep our heads. And in the meantime, if we can find a way to make each other laugh, all the better.
I should have listened to Clint Brocker when he tried to talk me into going south with him. And I tell you, there's not enough food.
You should have listened to someone. Maybe you'd have spent more time planting potatoes instead of building on that extra room. Now, there've got to be certain rules laid out, and we've got to live by them. And that means everybody. We're going to collect the meat that you brought and take it to the salt house along with ours so it won't spoil. And then we'll pass it out carefully as it's needed.
What if I decide not to give up my food?
Well, as long as you're here, Emmett, you'll have to do as I say.
But I've got a big family to feed.
Everybody will get an equal share. Now, the women and children will stay in the tavern during the day while the men hunt whatever game is left.
I've seen the game that's left. They're nothing but frozen carcasses buried under the snow.
And we'll be buried with them if a miracle don't happen.
Well, now, don't go breaking a hamstring. By rationing what we've got, we'll get by.
Can you guarantee that, Boone?
Daniel, got 2 Indians out here who want to talk to you. One of them's a squaw. She looks froze clear through.
Bring them in.
Come on.
We seek the one called Boone.
I'm Boone.
He's the one that pranced in front of my horse this morning.
My name is Oneha. This is my wife, Tona.
Oneha, I knew I recognized that name. You were the son of Chief Trenoy, are you not?
I am his eldest son.
But your wife is not a Creek.
She is Tuscarora. She is the only child of Chief Gray Cloud.
Of course. I remember now. This is no ordinary couple. This is a marriage of noble blood between two powerful and rival tribes. This is a marriage that finally stopped the bloodshed between the Tuscarora and the Creek.
If the Great Spirit honors us with the sun, he will unite our two tribes by blood in lasting peace.
You're many miles from your people.
We journey to the village of my wife. An escort from her village is to meet us and take us to the flat mountain to the north. Tana awaits the arrival of our first child. The signs are that he will be born before the new moon.
Your wife's expecting a child within the next few days, and she's been out in the freezing cold, trudging through the snow?
We'd hoped to reach the village of her father before the child came, but the snows have delayed us.
Why such a trip with your wife in this condition?
Her father's an old man. We were told he would not live till spring. His dying wish is to see the son of his daughter before death comes. I hear that the white man Boone is a friend to his red brothers. The sky darkens and fills with white ice. I ask shelter, not for myself, but for my wife and our child.
There's no room here.
But she's expecting a child.
There's not enough room as it is.
Cincinnatus, what about the storeroom?
There ain't enough room left in there to let go with a good sneeze. About the only place that ain't filled with people is the powder house.
The air in there's not fit to breathe. What about the animal shelter?
Now, that might be fitting.
At least they'd be out of the elements.
Well, who's gonna feed them? The food supply is too low as it is.
Well, 2 more mouths won't make that much difference.
Well, I don't agree. And I don't believe anyone else will.
Wait a minute. It was a gray cloud that attacked my hunting party 2 years back. This girl's father. And a lot of white men was killed in that raid.
Well, now, that was 2 years ago. And as I recall, your party had no right to be in Great Cloud's hunting grounds. And since then, a treaty has been signed and there's been no trouble.
The blood of our own is on her head. We don't want that savage.
There's something to that. It's pretty risky.
Well, I'm not going to turn out a woman expecting a child. Take her to shelter.
I'll go with you.
That's the food I'm worried about. This is not food.
Good morning, Mrs. Tully. Good morning. I brought you some hot broth.
But you have young ones of your own to feed.
Oh, we have plenty. And you have to keep your strength up.
But good words they speak of Boone. Speak the same of his wife.
The blanket you gave us last night. Oneha put it there to dull the cutting of the wind.
It is all right?
Of course. That's a very good idea.
A gift of a blanket is a sign of friendship among my people.
I want to be your friend, Tana. And now eat this before it gets cold.
Oneha.
No, little one. You must eat all. Our son must be strong. I go now to find some wood.
Oh, there's wood behind the storehouse shelter. Take what you need.
You will rest while I'm gone?
Never have I known a man so big to worry about one so little.
You go along, Aneha. I'll stay with Tana till you get back.
Thank you.
Where's the hatchet?
I forgot it.
We'll need it to cut through the ice.
You go on. I'll catch up.
for my new son.
I'll find something to make a pillow for you.
Nantine. The Great Spirit honors you. Nantine, my cousin. It has been so many springs since we said goodbye. Nantine, this is my friend, wife of the great white man called Boone.
I'm honored to meet the cousin of Tana.
We lived as little children together until Oneha took me as his wife and I went to live with his people.
How did you find us?
I found your trail in the snow near the river and followed it here. I was afraid the white man had captured you.
The white man is our friend. He has given us shelter and food.
Why did you come so far in the white cold?
To warn you that Shoshone is coming.
And Grey Cloud sent Shoshone to meet us and escort us to the village of the Tuscarora.
Do not trust Shoshone.
Shoshone?
He is a Tuscarora brave who hates the Creeks and did not wish the tribes to bury their hate and live in peace.
If the Great Spirit should honor Tana with a male child, our two tribes would be united forever.
Shoshone wants no male child to be born. He wants war. His heart is black and his blood boils with the fire of old hate. I have heard him swear that he will destroy a male child of Oneha and Tana.
Oneha.
I must return to the village before he knows I have warned you. Guard Tana well, Oneha.
Nantine.
Wet wood doesn't seem to burn too well.
It's good enough to dry itself out and give us a little comfort. How'd you get out there today?
Squirrel, a bird, and 4 frozen feet.
Not enough to choke a frog.
Frogs are not a bad idea. We have to dig a few out of the banks.
Well, frogs are good eating. Delicacy.
How do you hope to feed so many people on such pitiful game? I'm telling you, we'll never get through the winter at this rate. If you just listen to me, I got a plan.
I already have, Elisha. I know you're upset over the situation. We all are. There's no sense in worrying the women folk any more than they are. You're a good man. On the stubborn side, even hard-nosed at times, but all in all, you're a decent fella. We're going out to the salt house to pick up some meat. Why don't you come out and give us a hand?
Well, if I saw all that meat packed away, well, maybe it would give my spirits a lift.
Doubt about it, something's been chewing into this meat.
In this piece. In this one. Look at it.
This meat's been chewed into.
Daniel. Dead raccoon.
How did he get in here? The door was locked.
Must have been a loose board or under the roof. It doesn't matter, the damage is done.
The mouth.
I saw it.
What about the mouth?
Raccoon died of white fever.
White fever?
It's a highly contagious disease carried by animals.
Wiped out an entire Cherokee village not long ago. All this meat's gonna have to be destroyed and the salt house burned.
Destroy the meat?
We have no choice. It's contaminated, spoiled. We can't risk spreading the disease.
What's worse, Boone? Dying of white fever or starvation?
Oh no, are we back?
I know. Don't you hate it? We leave it at the cliffhanger.
I wanted to see what was going on. Oh, I got so into it, I didn't download these new pictures I want to show either.
Oh, I think we lost Darcy.
Uh-oh. That's a good show. I like that.
All right. So while we wait for Darcy to pop back on here, Lisa Buddha said, how was y'all Christmas as being young? I'm assuming she's saying, what was Christmas like when you guys were young? Do you remember how you celebrate Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas was a big deal in our house.
Big deal.
Big deal. Daryn, go ahead.
There was always a huge tree, and
and our roof wasn't small. It was a very deco house. So it was a 2-story, we had an indoor swimming pool. So this was by the swimming pool. Go ahead.
And we had huge tikis that held up the ceiling, and Mother would wrap them in Santa's clothes with big beards. And our house was very tropical. It was like Mother and Daddy designed the house because Mommy used to like to skinny dip with Daddy. And all of their friends were making the jungle movies like Ray Mara the Jungle, Tarzan. And so our house was a jungle. And she would do these tikis that held up the ceiling, and with Santa Claus, and then this huge tree, and then too much tinsel, but it was good.
Always tinsel. That's the base of one of the trees. And we're standing up on a fireplace. That's a very large fireplace behind.
Gosh, I was kind of cute.
With the big circular couch and all. I'll find some fun Christmas pictures. Hi, Dar. Welcome back.
Thank you. I've never left.
Okay. I liked your San Francisco background better, if you want to know the truth.
I don't know how to get it, or I would. I'm so
okay. Stay with it.
All right. It's fine.
Do you have a particular Christmas memory? Like, what was your favorite present you got for Christmas one year?
I think we all got talking dolls, and nobody had ever heard of a talking doll. I think we were the first at it. Darby had a boy one, Daryn and I had a girl one, and she could walk and talk.
But also, it's because Jack Ryan, who created
lived down the street.
Lived down the street. But Darby, you also with your helium balloon, that was one of your best Christmas gifts of all time. That he gave you, the missile scientist for Mattel who created Barbie and Chatty Cathy, brought you a helium balloon, remote control balloon when you were just a little older than that. Picture.
It was, and it flew around this big living room until your girlfriend came in and kicked it like a football.
My girlfriend?
Yes.
Shireen. Oops.
Yes. Anyway, we're staying positive. No, so you know, we're talking about Jack Ryan. Now, see, I have these pictures. I could show you who they are. Maybe I'll give them to Ginger through magic. Jack Ryan helped invent the Minuteman defense missile system. And then he went on to Mattel Toys and invented, Chatty Cathy, first talking doll.
Barbie.
And all. Yeah,
Barbie was his. Barbie was his.
The thing was, his wife didn't want him spoiling with all the toys. So somehow mom said, well, come on, my kids will let you know how all the toys are, if they're fun or not. So we always got all the latest toys and things to play with. And yeah, the presents were always stacked high. Jack was a fun. And then for Darcy's birthday, wherever she went, for her.
Oh, I came back.
You remember Jack Ryan? He wanted to throw, because he loved it when mom threw parties, because it was the who's list that came. And he wanted to have it at his house, which was a castle in Bel Air. It was almost a castle. The Bel Air Association wouldn't let him put the final moat in because they knew he wanted to put alligators in it. But
he brought every stone over one by one from England, a castle in England.
Which was wonderful. His dad was a contractor, and his dad loved to build. So he kept bringing it, and they reconstructed this castle. Anyway, and Darcy said, no, I want to have it at the beach. And Jack said, well, he brought in 32 truckloads of sand and put it around the pool, and had the Mattel character people put up a backboard and make it look like a whole beach party and everything. And we threw a beach party there.
Fabulous.
Was that your Sweet 16 or what was that?
It was Sweet 16, honey. It was. And wow, was that fun.
Yeah. And then later, mommy married him off to Zsa Zsa Gabor. And remember, she had all these cars and he took them apart piece by piece because his thing was.
No. That was that's a great story. No.
Great story.
And mom introduced them to date and have fun and everything, but they got married. And it's like, okay. So they got divorced because that's what Zsa Zsa did. And then Zsa Zsa wanted her, part of stuff. And one of the things they fought over was this beautiful, I think it was 30-something Rolls Royce. It was all tricked out and and they kind of fought over it, and she won. So he had to turn it over to her, and he did. I think it took about 9 dump trucks to deliver it to the driveway with every nut and bolt and piece that you could take apart, backed up and dumped in the driveway.
A great story, Darb. That is true. That is true.
Mommy always had interesting friends for us.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, Zsa Zsa got mad because the monkey got loose in her house. You remember that? Darcy with all her wild animals. Well, and I had a few, and so did Daryn.
Yep.
But
one of our birthday parties, I had a live baby cub, lion cub or tiger cub. And the photographer's taking a picture of me. Zsa Zsa grabs it out of my arms, puts it up and pushes it to her face and pushes me out of the picture. So the newspapers all got this picture of Zsa Zsa pushing this little girl away out of the picture while she cuddled up to the baby lion. Or tiger.
And then
I guess you had to have been there.
Daryn, didn't you send me the picture of the little elephant that was on the Lucille Ball show?
Oh, yeah.
And then mom saw that and said, oh, that's great. We got to get that for Darcy's birthday party up at Bel Air. It was Darcy's, right? It was a circus party.
It was Darcy. It's mine and Darcy's.
Okay.
Because a cake says mine and Darcy's.
Okay. So
even though our birthdays are 3 months apart.
With Mickey DeLenz, who was doing the circus boy, Mickey DeLenz from the Monkeys, and again,
all of the big Western actors in costume, and mommy had this elephant, and Clyde Beatty brought his circus. He brought a number of animals from his circus, and now we're on the top of Bel Air Road, and they have a very strict association. Is there a reason?
They hated us.
Do we wonder why they hated us and we never became close to our association? We were those people on the hill with raccoons and fox. And how about your falcons and the homing pigeons? Mommy had a party one time with homing pigeons and they never went away.
Oh, well, she used to bet on the homing pigeons. At her parties, you would bet on homing pigeons, and they would all have numbers on their legs. and then she would let them loose, and they would fly back to wherever their home was. And whoever was the first pigeon back, you won the part. Anyway, but let me fit the elephant.
Go home though.
But to finish the elephant story,
yes,
Mom sees this little cute elephant that they bring on the Lucy Bar, and go, oh, that's great for the party. Well, the party's like 3 months later, and she didn't realize how big baby elephants grow, how quick, or was it 6 months? Whatever. It wasn't a little baby elephant that showed up to the party anymore. And I think they had just done the landscaping, and it just pulled up everything as far as this little elephant could. Oh, that was fun.
But you forget the best part.
Yes.
Superman was the real Superman was at my birthday party, and the elephant's trunk knocked him over, and all the kids cried because Superman couldn't stand up to this big elephant. He was taking a publicity picture, and the elephant swatted him and knocked him down. But I got to be with Mickey Dolenz there. The monkeys, hey, we're the monkeys.
Yeah. But he was
doing Circus Boy. So we got to bring a lot of our animals too to have fun at the party with. But boy, talk about fun times.
Yeah, my mom knew how to throw a party, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, getting back to Daniel Boone for a second.
Yes.
Where was this episode filmed? I mean, obviously it was on the set, but where were the exteriors? Any idea?
Corner of Sunset and Western Avenue. And I don't think I've seen an exterior shot yet, except for a stock shot, what they call, which is just you take a camera out and you shoot a picture of the wilderness. Everything else has been on the set so far that I could tell.
And what was the snow made out of? Do you remember?
Plastic.
Like a light plastic?
Get in your eye. If you looked at the snow, I remember a kid. That was one of my first memories of working in the business was Brothers Grimm, because I had to be an orphan, and you had to go out, and it was an orphan in a snowstorm, and they would say, "Don't look at the snow," and you'd be like, "Okay," and you go out, and they turn on these big wind machines, and all this white stuff goes up in the air, and you're like, "Wow, look at that." And the next thing you know, they take you to the nurse and they're pulling pieces of plastic out of your eye. So, yeah, it was made out of plastic. That was one of my first memories, I think, was, well, I've seen a lot of Heroes Island lately. A lot of people have given me the lobby cards of it and stuff. And I remember being under a net on the beach, hot and everything else. Fun times.
Well, this is kind of a question for all three of you, although Darcy and Daryn, do you guys both have kids?
I did not. I had rock groups. I didn't.
Those were your kids?
I had to opt out of kids. My rock bands are my kids.
What about you?
Trouble.
What about you, Darcy? Do you have kids?
I have kids and grandkids, and I adore every single one of them.
Well, Tammy wants to know, how would you feel about your own kids going into showbiz at such young ages like you guys did? Did your kids go into showbiz?
I thought it was the most wonderful thing I could have done to be able to experience that and get into different characters and everything. I actually, when my kids first were in Hawaii, they didn't have that many parts for them, but they did have a little bank account because they were all making commercials and the Japanese were taking pictures and they were in a few little movies that were in town in Oahu. So they did work, all three of them, when they were children.
I've never asked you, Darby, have any of your kids done it, Darby, besides that special that you did where you guys did the Civil War reenactment thing or whatever? Did your kids do anything?
I know my poor daughter, I tried to direct my own kids. That wasn't good. India was the only one. All the other kids, I said, you know what, if you want to do it, when you're sick, if you really want to do it, because it's not a business you get into. I mean, it's a cutthroat. You got to be dedicated to it. It's a lot of work. And it's got to be something that you really have no other choice, but you want to do this. So I said to them, once you're 16 and can drive yourself to the auditions, I give you my whole support, because I know me taking you to those auditions, I would be a lousy stage mother. And so, they did a little bit, but not much, except for my third oldest son. He did Cal Arts performing, and he's still in it, and he's doing good things, and he's done a lot of modeling things and plays and stuff. But he's the only one that really caught the acting bug.
Yeah. Darby loved it. Darby loved his time. I look back and I think it was for a middle child, the shy one. I think it probably was a little traumatic, even though I enjoyed it. But if I didn't get a job, I heard about it. I really heard about it. So that, it's all that rejection, because you'd go out for maybe 30 roles and get what, 1 or 2, So I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to really make sure the kid wants it.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure the kid wants it. And then they grow up really fast, and they could grow up a little too fast. So you gotta be on top of it.
As you know, I do a lot of work for child actors and performers and stuff like that. And that's one of the biggest things is the kids that don't adjust to it as easily are the ones that have really been pushing it. The parents want to do it more than they do, or they get called, Paul Peterson and I used to talk about the deer in headlights. They bring their kids into Hollywood and they see the bright lights. Here, take my kid, and we'll take him out of school for 2 years and give him acting class, and he'll be the next. And what makes, God, I almost said somebody normal, and nobody on this Zoom, and even you, Ginger, I love you dearly, but I wouldn't throw a normal label on any of us, okay? But it really has to be a desire coming from the kid. It really has to be what they want to do. Because no matter what you do, when they go into an interview, the parent doesn't go in with them. They go into a room, the door closes, and they have to do what they're supposed to do. Fortunately, I was just coming off Wagon Train and feeling very cocky and in the wrong line. And, when I wandered in the wrong line and ended up with Fess and all the producers, and I'm taking my tooth out and hogging it up so much that, they said, okay, you got a part, even though there wasn't even a part in the script for me. So it was just, and it's what I've always done. And every time I tried to walk away from it and say, okay, I'm going to go, and I have done other things, but every time I've really said, okay, I'm walking away. To Darren's wedding, I got on a plane, right? Auditioned for Dallas, I think it was, or something. And I called before I got on there, and Daryn, God bless her, wanted me to walk her down the aisle. And I said, okay, I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm leaving. 5 hours, 6 hours later, you land, and Darren's meeting me in the airport. And she's like, oh, I said, well, you got to go back. I said, what do you mean I got to go back? He said, well, they want you. You're supposed to go work. I'm like, no. And it was a recurring role. And it was in, I'm like, no, I'm here for my sis. So I don't know. But I just remember that. It's always called me back, so I guess it likes me. Look, I'm still doing it. I love working with you, Ginger, and Bob, he's okay. I might work with him again, but I'm still having fun, so that's why I still do it.
All right, Todd says Morgan plays great bad mood characters.
Oh,
he
yeah.
really does. Bad guys and bad mood characters. Jim Bob says, just wanted to say this is my first watch party and I'm having a blast. Really glad you guys do this. So yay, Jim Bob. Welcome, finally. Wendy Hoffman asks, Darby, what was Morgan like? He was my son's fave actor from Gunsmoke. He has a new son he named for Morgan. Do you remember working with Morgan Freeman? Not Morgan Freeman, Morgan Woodward. Sorry.
Yes, and actually through Rob Words, he does a word on Westerns, and Morgan would come to that and talk and everything, and he talked about Fest because they were friends and stuff. And he was a nice guy, but yeah, he could be intense. He had that way about him.
So you don't have a specific memory of ever meeting him or talking to him or working?
Yeah, but we keep everything positive here, so I'm going to just keep moving on.
Oh, I think that's your answer, Wendy. Moving on. Ellen Diorio says, what a story. Who knows which one she's referring to, because there has been quite a many good stories already. Carla Craybaum says, I am really enjoying your stories. You are also blessed to have each other. Merry Christmas to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's
Brenda
beautiful.
Mudrack, I think we already answered this. She said, how did they make the snow outside the fort? It looks like almost like a white blanket when the native woman jumped on it. And how is it the snow was so high against the door when the guy just had the door opened? Movie magic. No. We don't overthink things here.
Got it.
Brenda.
2 words, movie magic. You could be inside that sound stage and that snowstorms one day and the next day you're sweating in the middle of a desert.
Well, it's funny because Michael McGreevy was talking about the Bonanza episode he was in, Gabrielle, and they used foam, like soap sud foams, and he remembers them spraying it all over the place, and he had to run down a hill, and he was saying how he could have easily slipped, and just because it was nothing but soap suds and foams, which was unusual.
Well, in Christmas Wishes and Mistletoe Kisses, they were using a lot of just like cotton and foam and stuff to make it look like it was snowing because there was no snow.
Well, that's probably because Hallmark owns stock in that since they do so many Christmas movies.
The hardest one we had was the Donner Party because we wanted to shoot it in the Donner Pass because we thought, that's great. And it was during our drought. We had no snow. We had to go to Leadville, Colorado, the highest golf course in America, just to find snow.
So that was shot in real snow then?
Yes, and in real altitude. And we had more than a few crew members taken in for altitude sickness. And I, of course, went off and went skiing the day I wasn't working. They're like, you got to adjust. And I'm like, I will. But that was fun. The worst fake weather thing I had to do was a martial arts film I did in the Philippines. And it had to be the fog. We're going up into the mountains to talk to the guru, whatever it was, and we're walking up there and they're coming in with these big old pump things. And Darren will remember what they were because they used to use them in the studios, but they would, and you plug them in, you take it, and they pump it and they're creating this just fog that you walk through and everything. But they were using insecticide.
Oh no!
At least in Hollywood, you're using something that you walk, like at the parties and stuff. Because that's all they had to make this foggy stuff is the insecticide. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! No.
Darby, your Aloha sister wants to say how much fun I've had being with you. Ginger, so nice to meet you. Love you, sis. Love you, Darb. I did a Lucille ball and it keeps telling me my battery's low and I'm going to lose you guys. Leave it to me. I don't think I'll be invited back, but I sure have loved being with you.
Wait, Dar, listen. If you promise me you'll go do it from a stationary camera, computer, not your iPad, and it's plugged in, because you girls have been fun. This is great. This is a fan sent it to me. I don't know if it's coming in and out. It is.
No, it's coming in and out.
Okay.
Hold it in front of you, Darby. If you hold it right in front of you.
The Lion and the Horse, which Dad is in, but it stars Steve Cochran.
Wow.
My godfather.
Godfather. Wow. So if you can get a good connection where we can see it, we'll all have a viewing party because I think it's a great little Western. It's a great little story, and we'll try doing it again.
And wait till you tell them how the man died. Most men would envy that. But anyway, well, we all have to die, but he died with gorgeous women around him. All right. Anyway, aloha, Merry Christmas, Mele Kalikimaka to everyone. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. God bless you. I'm so glad we're all well and safe.
Love you,
Dar.
Dar.
Love you, sis.
Sorry, I'm
Bye,
not there with
kiddos.
you. Love you, Dar.
Bye, Darcy.
Bye.
That's my sis. It's so nice of her that, you know, she had to go take her husband in and she's doing this. You're still with us, Dar. Dar.
See her lips moving, but we don't hear
See, I
anything.
told you, not my.
Not her thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darcy Hinton has left the stage. Uh-oh, Daryn, you got big shoes to fill. You're gonna have gonna have to really dig into the recesses of your mind and answer these questions now.
Oh, good.
All right, Darby. So Stacy Schaefer says, was the Philippines movie Firecracker?
The Philippines movie was Firecracker.
Good call, Stacy. Last question is, Todd says, I think Jay Silverheels is coming up in the episode. Did you get to spend any time with him? Is he in this episode?
Ah, look at that. We'll see.
Darby doesn't know either. It's
I
been
haven't
a long
seen
time
it.
since he watched this episode too, apparently.
That's why these are so much fun. I haven't seen these episodes in probably since they were on, maybe one, I don't know. But that's why this is so much fun.
Was this the only Christmas episode that Daniel Boone did?
You're asking me?
I'm just curious. Like Bonanza, they only did like 2 in their whole 14 years. So I don't know why they all didn't do more.
The main Christmas story. I'm sure there's some people that can tell me exactly how many we did. And
so chime in here, people, if you know if there was more than one Christmas episode.
I posted that picture. Darcy visited me on the Hawaii Five-0 set that I was doing with Cassidy. And, you know, they can pull it out of that. And that shot of you, Daryn and Darcy, on the set. I would be really interested to find out what that's from.
Me too. I don't remember all those things from back then, you know, all those parts.
I know we've talked a lot. Should we get on with this episode? I got to see what happens.
Yes, I guess we did sort of leave it at a cliffhanger. So I guess we'll go on to part 2. So this is part 2. This one's about 14 minutes long. And then we'll be back with the Christmas story and to chat with our guests, Daryn and Darby Hinton.
Our meat away from us, and now it's all spoiled. I should have given it to my family while I still had it.
Well, what are we gonna do? Just sit here and starve to death?
Now let's simmer down. Let's not lose our heads yet. We're not the first ones to find themselves in this kind of predicament, and we won't be the last.
Even if we survive the cold, the blizzard, what do we live off of? What do we eat? A few scrawny rabbits and an occasional squirrel. Those puny 3 fish it took Cincinnatus all day long to catch.
It's better than none.
I say we head south for Louisiana while there's still time.
Well, now, how long do you think you'd last in that blizzard?
I say Elijah's right. Let's get out of here while we can. We'd be plumb out of our minds to try to get through that snow.
Well, we'd be plumb out of our minds if we stay here.
Look, I was confident enough in Dan Boone to come here, and I still have enough confidence in him to stay.
Emmett, how come you're so all-fired confident? Maybe you got some grub stashed away we don't know about, huh?
You accusing me of hoarding, Jeremy Kane?
Maybe that's just what I'm doing.
What is the matter? What is the matter? What is wrong with you? If you let fear turn to hate, then there's no hope for us.
All right. Then let's stick together. Tomorrow, let's all of us leave Boonesboro and head south.
And leave everything we've worked for?
Working for something's one thing, dying for it's another.
I told you nobody's gonna die.
And another thing, how do we know those Indians you let in aren't part of some plot to trick us?
What are you talking about?
Tell him, Jeremy.
Daniel, I saw an Indian sneaking out of the fort today.
That was Nanting.
You knew about this, Becky?
I'm sorry, Dan. I didn't have a chance to tell you. The girl was Tana's cousin, and she came to warn Tana.
Well, she didn't have to sneak in. We let her in. She was probably afraid. Now, I want 6 of you men to start hunting.
What's this about an Indian woman bringing a warning?
What about that, Becky?
Well, it seems that Tuscarora brave Shoshone isn't too happy about the news of the expected baby.
Daniel, Shoshone obviously wants war with the Creeks.
And Shoshone's on his way now to escort Oneha and Tana back to Chief Gray Cloud's village. The girl came to warn Tana not to trust Shoshone.
You know what this means, Boone? On top of everything else, we can get mixed up in that Indian trouble. If this Shoshone finds out this Indian woman's here, he just might try to raid us.
Gray Cloud won't attack this fort as long as his daughter is here.
What does it take to prove to you we got to get out of here?
Daniel, we just have to. We ain't got enough to eat. Now this Indian thing?
We'll get enough to eat if we have to hunt and fish and dig for 24 hours a day.
Well, we've got 3 fishes now. We can get 3 loaves where you can bless them and we'll all eat.
All we got left is hope and prayer. And I won't stand still for blasphemy. Now, it took all of us to build what we've got here, and it's going to take all of us to keep it. When we came here, this was a savage land, and we tamed it with our bare hands. We can't fight among ourselves. We can't let this land turn us into savages. Maybe I'd flush some rabbits. Didn't get a thing. Mingo's still out there. Saw a pack of wolves turn on one of their own tonight. Tore him to pieces. They're starving too.
You must be exhausted. Oh, the fire's almost gone out. I had a terrible time getting the Robertson children to sleep and forgot to put more wood on.
Oh, don't bother. We'll be going to bed soon.
Oh, but I wanted to keep it going till you came home. But I did keep the coffee hot. I saved you a cup.
Mima and Israel, they all right?
They're holding up just fine. You should be proud of them, Dan.
Bad, Rebecca. Real bad.
You haven't called me Rebecca for years. Can't be that bad.
I'm worried. I think I'm worried more now than I've been in all my whole life put together. The salted meat's gone. The blizzard. I can't blame Elisha and all the others for getting all twisted up. I'm getting meaner myself than some old grizzly bear.
I know. I've never seen you lose your temper twice in one day before.
Everything we've worked for. The dream.
Oh, Dan, you listen to me. When I first met you, I thought you were, I don't know, the kind of hero that young girls read about in books. But as I got to know you, I realized that you were a man. And I fell in love with that man. because he was kind and strong. And what's even more important, because I believed in him, in his dream, and it became my dream. I still believe in that man, in his dream. We'll pull out of this. I know we will.
Ma?
What is it, dear?
I'm hungry.
Go back to sleep, Israel.
Israel, wait. Here, son.
Thanks, Pa.
Dan, I saved that for your breakfast. You need your strength, too.
You're my strength. Israel, Jemima. You.
Better make my rounds. Any luck? Didn't even see anything. You ought to go get some rest. You need it. So do you. It's Boone. May I come in?
You are always welcome.
How you getting along?
My son becomes restless. I think the time shall be soon now.
You're sure certain it's going to be a boy, aren't you?
Already I can feel the strength of a brave man.
Our son shall be the beginning of a new way of life for our tribes. A sapling to protect his people like the branches of a great tree.
Well, if he's like his father, he'll be a good man. Where'd this come from?
It is the work of my husband.
That's good work. You could use a carpenter around here.
Daniel! Two Indians. You want me to let them in?
Yes.
I am Sashona. We have come to escort the daughter of Great Cloud back to our village.
But she cannot leave now. The time of birth for our child is near.
Great Cloud ordered me to bring her to him at once.
Great Cloud had no wish to harm his only daughter and her child. We will stay until the child is born and wait 2 moons until he is strong enough to travel. If our good friend Boone will let us remain.
Of course you can. She's no condition to travel.
We go now.
Is it your hope, Sashona, that the cold would perhaps be harmful to the newborn?
We will leave when I say. Not before.
Think that about settles it, Shoshona. You can camp outside the shelter if you like. Try to get some rest. Shoshona, I know how you feel about the baby. So do they. Don't bother us. We won't bother you.
The child of Tana will not live to unite the tribes. There will be war. The creeks will be destroyed. Return to the village. Tell Gray Cloud the white man holds his daughter hostage, and we must attack.
Attacked? Why?
Is it not true that a newborn child and his mother might die in the confusion of battle? Go!
Another cliffhanger.
What? What's he doing? And nobody saw a thing. That's it. That guy's watching the front like a hawk, but the one moment we need him to be watching the gunpowder, he's, I don't know where he was.
Indian roam around and you were so worried Earl escaped that yes. I can't believe it. I was trying to go through my pictures and find the one of the party and stuff. I did find one of the elephant. Oh.
So what was that they had you eat? Was that a piece of bread? What was that supposed to be?
Yeah, that was just bread.
Do you remember that scene? I mean, that's a way to earn your money. You just have to lay there and say, I'm hungry, and get fed and go back to sleep.
Now wait, sleeping is one of the harder things to do. You know, they talk about NCSI where the dead people and they have to get extras, and you kind of have to specialize in it because you got to stay there totally, you know, still while all this stuff's going on around you. And yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really hard work, Darby. Sorry, I'm not convinced. Daryn, you want to chime in here? Is that harder work than actually acting?
Oh, boy.
You're still acting. You're acting that you're asleep.
Yeah, right.
You know, the good one they gave me on the show was during one of the scenes, they came up and they said, here, you have to eat this. And I said, what's this? They said, it's called beef jerky. And I looked at it and said, well, it looks like somebody's shoe. What, you know, the bottom of somebody's shoe. I don't want to eat that. I've eaten like raw salmon for you, and I've done it, but that looks really bad. And they're like, well, this is what the kids in those days ate. You got to eat it in the scene. I'm like, oh. And then we started doing the scene, and I started eating it. They had to send the prop guy out by lunch to go buy more of it I'm still a beef jerky.
You're still a beef jerky fanatic.
Yeah.
Beef fanatic is that what you call it?
Fanatic.
Oh, beef fanatic.
Jerky fanatic. Yeah.
Here's a question for you, Daryn. Robin Gronemus wants to know, how did Daryn meet David Hasselhoff, and did she date any other famous guys?
You know, my mother was amazing, and she knew everybody, and if she didn't know him, she could meet him by deciding she wanted to meet him. And I don't know how it was. We had it because we had a swimming pool in the living room, then we had a big couch, and then we had hanging from the ceiling a TV. You know, this is anyway. So somehow we started watching this show. I don't know what it was. And I said, wow, he's really cute. And the next thing you know, he was on my doorstep. He came over, mother had him, come over, and then we hit it off and we became really close. And you got to understand, my mom's parties were like the biggest and the best theme parties in all of Hollywood. They were so much fun because mother liked interesting people, but she also liked fun, interesting people, like not the snobby elite, all that kind of stuff. She wanted fun. And she always had all these dramatic, amazing, incredible things. And plus the guest list was quite awesome. So he loved coming to our parties. Yep. Life magazine. That's our living room.
Oh, you did say I took it off. I didn't think I was sharing the right thing.
That's the living room from Life magazine, Darby, with Daddy.
I know.
Okay.
Ginger's laughing because she knows how technical I am with this.
Okay. But so that happened one time. And then we had great times together. I have so many pictures of him that I would never put up because kind of dorky. We're like in costumes and maybe they weren't the best on him or whatever, but a lot of those different things. And one time we were, I don't know if it was watching TV or something. Oh, Maya, the TV show is Maya with Jane Orth and the Big Elephant and Sajid Khan.
Sajid Khan.
Sajid Khan, and I was 13 years old.
Darcy should be on here for a Sajid Khan.
No, we don't do that. That's a big sister riff. But I'm 13 and I'm 5'7", so I passed for 21 when I was 12. It's not like I had all the smarts, but I just looked. And so another time I'm like, wow, he's really cute. And so next thing you know, he was my escort at some big ball. And with Sajid Khan. And then, you become friends and they like coming to the parties and you like them. And because we're kind of a crazy family too. You can get sucked into the.
Don't tell people we're crazy. They might believe you.
Okay, well, we're unusual. How's that, Darby? I don't want to be normal. You started out the show with that. That Ginger's not normal. None of us are normal.
Wait a minute. You mean that most people don't have this in their front yard?
They don't have that. That's the front yard, and that's before the party started because there aren't very many people there, and the horses aren't there, and nothing else is there.
But you can see when I said, I think that's when Mom first saw the elephant. He's a lot bigger than he was on the Lucille Ball show. But you can see how high. When I say we had high ceilings, we had high ceilings.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's outside, so of course you have large. Who's the boy that's standing next to the elephant?
I have.
Not you, is it? Oh.
No. Darby wasn't born.
Not yet. No.
Not yet. No.
So, who was your favorite famous guy that you dated, Daryn? Do you remember? Do you have a favorite?
No, I have some that were strange and different, and you never knew they were like that, or famous producers' sons and stuff. Very strange. But no, I don't know. David was so much fun to be with. And then, he wasn't really that, he wasn't huge at that time. I mean, I was still dating him and he was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and stuff. But we were like really close friends. It wasn't as much a sexual relationship as it was. We really had.
I don't have to get into my sister's sex life.
I know, but I'm just saying it wasn't odd and heavy.
I always thought there was friends. What did I know? There was more than friends. Next, you're going to tell me Tom Selleck is, I don't want to know.
No, we all love Tom. I did not go out with Tom that way.
Okay.
But he was a friend of all of ours.
Now, did you go over to Hawaii at all as far as when Magnum PI was over there, Daryn?
I was over in Hawaii quite a bit because when Darcy actually started out, she started out with a clothing store, and then she ended up being the first partner for BB you know, BB the clothing store. And then she ended up with 18 of those. So we would go over, it was like a second home to us. Growing up, our second home was Jamaica. But then later when she moved over there, it kind of was normal for that to be maybe another home for us too. Yeah, I spent a lot of time there in Hawaii. I still do. I just moved back. I just moved back a little while ago from Hawaii.
My mom was an adventurer, and
Yes.
we were always traveling. Now, see, I can do this. See, we were doing Hawaii back in the day. That's a prop plane. We would have to take a prop plane over to Hawaii and back. Yeah, I don't think our family was too Hollywood.
No, always matching. But Darby, do you have any with the Duke?
I like your sandals, Darby. Those are cute.
Oh, thank you. You would notice that. Well, you know, look at Darren's ankle bracelet too. I like.
Yeah, those are shells.
And of course, we did have to take ukulele lessons. You know, along with surfing lessons from the. You know, Mom didn't just have us take surfing lessons from anybody. We took surfing lessons from the Duke.
Duke of Hanamoku. Yeah.
Where there's a statue of him on Waikiki Beach, you know, that was fun.
Duke's restaurants. Yep. Amazing.
We had crazy times.
Lisa Buddha says, how do you all feel about old Hollywood being demolished and not preserved, must be. I'm not sure what she's referring to.
Yeah, I don't think you can preserve it. You know, fortunately, you can go back and view it and do things here. I think this is wonderful. I love Fess in this and Morgan. The only reason I said that at one of Rob's things, Morgan questions Fess's acting. And to me, that's Pa, and you don't say anything against Pa.
Don't say anything about
and that's the only reason. So that's as bad as it got with Morgan. Besides that, he was fine. Okay. You couldn't preserve it back then. It was so crazy, and it's just, it was a happening. It was a thing.
Yeah, and it's true because it's really hard. Like I have a book that's going to be coming out soon, and it's really hard for me because, okay, Darby's godfather's Charlton Heston. My godmother's Jane Russell. I was named by Tyrone Power, and it goes on, and you know, other things. But the thing is, even in my book, I can't say Tyrone Power. Nobody knows who in the heck he was. They don't know he was Zorro or Captain of or all these. I mean, he's probably the most handsome actor that ever lived, and one of the greatest loves of everybody's life that was a woman at that time. And Charlton Heston, come on, they don't even know who he is. I mean, they don't even know who the Beatles are anymore.
Yes, we do. Wait. We do know who the Beatles are. I'm saying you'd be surprised. The Beatles have been timeless because Paul McCartney's still around. So I would say they're still timeless.
You know,
and Charlton Heston, we know because they play the Ten Commandments all the time.
Yeah, but still not everybody watches the Ten Commandments. So it really, they don't know that huge, amazing. And then Jane Russell, it's like, who? It's like, okay, you have to go through, okay, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Marilyn Monroe, she was the bombshell of her era for brunettes. But so I have to do all these descriptions in my book that you would think, no, but there aren't great actors like that, like there used to be, because there were so few compared to, I mean, come on, look at how many TV stations we have and movies, and now the different kinds of movies, and now you have movies on every station. It's not like it was where there were very few actors back.
Yeah. I talk about that in my book that, we had 30 million viewers on Thursday night. And that's because they had 3 or 4 other choices. And, it was a Thursday, so they weren't really going to the movies. But there, no Game Boys, no anything else. And you just don't have that anymore because it's so diverse now, all the different avenues that are out there. But that's great. And I really look forward to Darren's book because she's talking about growing up in Hollywood with all this kind of stuff that goes on. And then also from a Christian point of view or a spiritual point of view. And I'm waiting. I'm very anxious to hear it.
But it's a spiritual book, so it's not. It's kind of like one of those. Yeah, this is my one woman journey. So it's not. This is my Hollywood story. There are just all those stories in it because those are what make you who you are and why you think the way you do. Anyway, but yeah, I love your book, Darby. It's got
what's yours called, Daryn? What are you going to call your book? Have you decided yet?
Well, I haven't told anybody, but it's Revelation Revolution. And it's basically, you know, connecting one-on-one yourselves, you know. Anyway.
Well, I have a question for you because you decided to go into the music aspect of Christianity versus television, which is interesting because in this episode of Daniel Boone, obviously there's a Christian, although it's Indians, but we all know what the story is stemmed from. I just did a Bonanza weekend and there's a lot of, you know, Christianity aspect with the Old West and things like that. And of course they had Little House on the Prairie and we talked about how those shows are still got longevity, but you know, there's no more of those kind of shows being produced because Hollywood doesn't think people want to watch them, but yet they're on all the time. Was there at any time in your career, did you ever have a desire to try to go into the TV aspect and try to get the Christianity aspect in it or no?
I remember talking to Rosie Greer on the phone soon after I became a Christian. And when I was starting to work with men, I said, oh, I have this dream. I want to make a movie that's like all the stuff that you can't see in the unseen world that's helping us type of thing. I remember rolling on the floor and saying that, but there are actually whole networks that are only Christian. There are whole, like you can, I haven't subscribed, but there are things that you can subscribe to that are only Christian movies. And see, that's what it was in the music industry, was there were this whole Christian world of Christian radio stations, Christian. My band was not that. My band was a regular heavy metal band right up in the middle of the Satan worshiping, all that kind of heavy metal stuff. And they loved God, threw out Bibles and into the audiences and changed the world. They tore open the walls to faith-based music, you know, in the mainstream industry. And if I ever did anything, I would want it to be in the regular world. I wouldn't want to be in like the Christian world doing something. It would be a message or something like that that was actually reaching people who don't know God.
You have to remember, a lot of people came after Daryn too when she started doing this. And what are you doing with those heavy metal, long-haired? You know, that's not Christian. What do you? And I was even, you know, a little skeptical. Yeah, it's a heavy metal band, Daryn. Sure. And then I went to one of the concerts, one of your first ones, and they're right. They were throwing out Bibles and they're praising God, and they were rocking out, and they had all these kids on their feet rocking and just moving in such a wonderful way. And their hearts were pure. They were not in it for the wrong reason. And Daryn took them on a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
So what was that first concert like? Because it must have been, were there Christians there at it that understood their music, or was it people that were there thinking it was going to be a heavy metal, the usual heavy metal audience in the transition?
This interview isn't about me, so I'll do the tiny.
Okay.
I came from really Hollywood, you know. I didn't need God. I don't want God. I don't need God. But something changed, and I you know, questions said, God, if you're really real, reveal yourself to me. It's a whole big story and all that kind of stuff. But then I dove into Christianity because I knew they knew more than I did. And I didn't know. Those people on TV, they must be the ones that know. And so I dove in and got really religious. So basically somebody brought me a picture of this. And so I was doing crusades against the evils of rock and roll with this big pastor and worldwide ministry. And so somebody showed me a picture of these guys with big hair and tight spandex and heavy metal. And I went, oh, they couldn't be Christian because of the way they look. Hello. I mean, that's pretty bad, you know, because God looks on the heart. It's humans that look on the outside. And so I went to actually, you know, go they probably are a gimmick and expose them type of thing. And when I saw them, they were opening up for Bon Jovi in this small club called the Country Club. And my mind was blown because everybody was listening to them. And no matter what we did with our crusades, nobody, you know, we couldn't get that kind of attention. It was just Christians coming and maybe they'd bring a friend. But this was heavy metal, hard rock kids that were just listening to every word they were saying. But I didn't know. I still thought it could be a gimmick. But then I went backstage, met with them, and it was all over. I sold everything I had, and I put all my money behind them and started working with them 24/7. And everybody thought I was crazy, including my own family. I had to leave everybody because, you know, I'm now joining a cult, right? So anyway, now they're okay. Everything's good. But that's the short story.
We'll have to read your book for the rest of it, right?
I'm a little set free on all that. But God's the most important thing, but a little more set free. Okay.
I was just interested. I think that's a fascinating story, especially as popular as Christian music is now, too. So you were there in the cutting edge of it all, breaking out.
Oh,
so
no,
that's great.
she wasn't on the cutting edge. She was pushing the edge.
She was the cutting edge.
Yeah.
What is movement?
Music in Russia, you know, I mean, that's a big deal. Getting Stryper on MTV. I mean, you know, even... Was it harder to get him on MTV or was it harder to get him on the Christian, like, you know, the 700 Club? Or
Well, see, we had Christians with bullhorns saying you're going to go to hell if you go to this concert. And the heavy metal people didn't want him either. So that's the kind of what we, you know, we were being sabotaged by the group. Yeah. And so with MTV, they broke the records. They were on #1 more than any other video and all that kind of stuff because they had this thing where you called in for your favorite band. But it became a new thing. Like nothing had ever happened like this for faith-based anything. So we created a command post. I rented them a little office. We had this office and, you know, telling people, okay, when you go into the record store, it's in the gospel bin. And, you know, you want to do your part and get it in the regular music bin. It's not a gospel record, you know? And so we had to change culture. And it was really exciting because nobody can take credit for it. It was all miracles. But, you know, this is Darby's interview, so I don't want to take it. Sorry, everybody, that was just sick.
It's okay, see, because it follows the theme of what we're seeing, where people are, you know, like you said, they're looking on the outside, they're not looking on the heart. So
and I want to say one thing, Darby, I love that you say nothing negative, because from this episode, you see what just 1 or 2 negative people can do to destroy everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's my only rule. You know me, that was me with my kids. Few rules, but they were firm. And this one is as long as everything's presented in a positive way.
Cool.
So
on that note, should we go into we've got a couple more comments here, but we can say those at the end. We have one final segment. It's about 16 minutes long to find out what's going to happen. So we'll be back in 16 minutes.
Will Daniel starve to death? Will Israel end up being cannibalized?
Well, we know they can't kill any more raccoons or fish or anything because their gunpowder got all wiped out. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back in 17 minutes to wrap up tonight's episode of Daniel Boone. So here we go with the Christmas story.
Good morning. Morning.
Morning. Flasher? Everybody seems to be in low spirits this morning. We've got to figure out some way to help them. We've got to help them, Becky. What is that, Israel?
It's a Christmas tree.
Well, you know about that. Did you make it yourself?
Uh-huh.
It's a regular hum-diddly-dinger, too.
Now, that's the real spirit of Christmas, Israel.
Now, if we just had some popcorn, make some strings around there.
Popcorn.
That's all right, darling. Your little tree is very nice, just as it is.
Isn't that my hair ribbon? It was just an old one. Israel, that happens to be my best ribbon. And look at it, you've cut it to pieces.
Jemima, now it's for a good cause.
Daniel.
Something's happened. I was on my way to meet you. I noticed the lock was broken. All the powder's been deliberately wetted down.
Tell them.
We'll make him talk.
Just hold on. Shoshona, you've got a choice. Do you want to tell me why you wet down that powder? Or do I walk away and let them ask you their way?
I did it to save my people from your guns.
And what are you talking about?
Unless you release the daughter of Grey Cloud, my people will attack the fort.
Attack? For what reason?
Grey Cloud would not break the treaty.
He says you have broken the treaty by keeping his daughter hostage.
She's not being kept hostage, and you know that.
Yellow Eye, he's gone. You sent Yellow Eye back to Grey Cloud with lies. Why?
It would be a bad omen to have the child of Grey Cloud's daughter born under the roof of the white man. If you come with me now, there will be no attack.
So the baby, maybe even Tawna, would die out there in the snow. Is that what you had in mind, Shoshona? Or if there is an attack, maybe the child and the mother will die during the middle of it.
What? If you wish to stop the attack, you must send Tawna away from the village.
You gotta send him away now, Boone. We don't want any more trouble than we've already got.
It is many miles to Grey Cloud's village. It is time for the coming of the child. Such a journey now would kill them.
Well, it's them or us.
Send him away.
Grey Cloud would believe me. I will go to him and tell him you are our friends. He will not attack.
It's a good idea.
Why take such a chance? Get them out of the fort, all of them.
I'm not going to send that girl and her baby to their death out in this weather. Natus, find Oneha a warm coat and get him on his way. Jeremy, take Shoshona and lock him up in the tool shed.
Come along, son.
Now, the rest of you men, you must have at least 10 rounds of powder left in your horn, maybe more. Just in case, let's set our defense.
Not me. I'm taking my wife and getting out of here right now. If the rest of you have any sense, you'll do the same.
You heard Daniel. Fetch your rifles.
A man could easily get lost in this blizzard. What if Oneha doesn't make it on time?
And we don't worry about starvation.
Come on, get in. Leave it alone.
Don't you listen to reason, man. You can't make it. You won't be able to make a mile a day in this.
You'll all wish you'd come with me when them Tuscarora devils come screaming down on you.
Yeah, yeah.
Shoshone gets through before Oneha, there won't be any stopping him.
Here, bite on this leather. It'll help.
What time you figure it is?
A little after midnight.
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
Becky! I thought I told you to stay inside.
Well, I'm afraid the baby didn't hear you, and I've got to have some more blankets.
It's now?
Now.
Dino! It's them.
It's Gray Cloud, all right. On the horse. I guess Oneha didn't get through.
I can't tell on this light how many braves he brought with him. I'm going down and talk to him.
Daniel, you can't go out there. They're liable to kill you.
How long can we fight without gunpowder? There's no need for both of us to.
Let's go.
Looks like Oneha made it.
Gray Cloud, this is my friend, the one they call Boone.
I'm honored to meet Gray Cloud, great chief of the Tuscarora.
Oneha called you friend? I call you friend. Oneha says your people need food. We have much. We bring food to white friends of my daughter.
Well, there's enough food here to feed the settlement for a month.
Tonna. What of Tonna?
Baby, he was coming when we left the fort. Come on.
Take him, my husband. Hold your son and feel the warmth of new life.
Go on, take him, Oneha.
You have made an old man walk in the shadow of death with courage, my daughter. A tribute shall be paid the Great Spirit For the boy shall become man, and there shall be peace between our tribes.
That is good.
I make promise that I will light the dark sky with one fire, if child be male, two, if woman child. We must send signal fire to tell her the good news.
I'll light a torch atop the wall you can see for miles. Made many friends here today, Gray Cloud.
You were my friend when you took in my children.
Welcome back, Elisha. You said it'd take a miracle to save us? There it is. Thanks to Gray Cloud, we're gonna make it.
I'm sorry, Daniel. Sorry for everything I've said. Sorry I didn't have enough hope.
Remember that when you take hope from a man, he's just another animal.
Daniel, we want to, do you suppose it'd be all right to offer him a gift?
I'm sure it'd be. Take in.
I've said some pretty ornery things to those people. You think they'd want me in there now?
They're just ordinary people like us. They understand. There's an old Indian saying they know. When a man's heart's full of fire, sparks fly out of his mouth. Look, from thee shall come forth a leader who shall rule my people.
Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, with an eye like an eagle and as tall as a mountain was he. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man. He was brave, he was fearless, and as tough as a mighty oak tree. From the coonskin cap on the top of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe, the rippenest, roaringest, fightingest man the frontier ever knew. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, with an eye like an eagle and as tall as a mountain was he. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man. What a boon, what a doer, what a dream come a truer was he.
I think I want to take a vote from the Darlings and Dudes. Which of the three versions of the theme song they like the best? Oh, now wait a minute. Here, I have to share something too. Wait a minute. Come back. So I don't know why some of the people in the Christian world didn't think that these boys were Christian and should be out there, you know, talking about God. And like Daryn said, you got to judge from the heart.
Of course, that's me in the front. They were an all-guy band.
And you did have longer hair than them, which is pretty amazing.
I did. That was, yeah.
Yeah, but they look like the rock guys that I used to love in the 80s, you know. I mean, and I didn't think they always played the hard rock. They played the, what do they call it? There was a phrase for it. Was it hair rock?
Hair metal?
I didn't think it was metal, but I don't know. You know, like white stripe or what was, I don't know. Apparently I wasn't that big of a fan because I don't remember any of their names.
But like Daryn said, these guys have made a comeback. They're now playing worldwide and as popular as ever. So it's great to see their longevity too.
That's awesome. Well, a bunch of people are looking forward to reading your book, Daryn. So you'll have to keep us posted as to when that comes out. Any idea when you're planning on publishing it?
No, Darby did all those pictures and they're fabulous. I just got my pictures finished, which was a big deal because it's kind of like one of those self-help type books, you know, whatever it is, but with my stories in it, you know, what brought me these things. And I did, and I got 14 pages of collages, and I could have done so many more, but that's not really the story. So it was hard. Darby has 500 pictures in his book. But yeah,
but you're smart enough to know now you just have your Facebook page where you start teasing your book and you put those rare pictures. So now you do your big build up so that when the book comes out, we don't see any repeats. We see all brand new.
Right. Right.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Come on, Daryn.
Okay. I got it, Ginger.
All right. So here's one other to share. Here's the party we were talking about. And that's young Mickey Dolenz down there. And you're right. There's the cake that says Daryn and Darcy.
Yes, in front.
And that's my mom in the clown suit and my dad in the vest. And that was Klondike. It was a Canadian one, right? The Mountie.
Yeah, big star. And I'm the zebra.
And right. There's Darcy. Darcy's the one sitting at the table, and Daryn is the zebra. And I'm just a twinkle in my mother's eye. Or my dad's eye. I was twinkling somewhere.
Now, Kathy said such a great episode, really enjoying it. Always been a big fan of John Crawford. Was he as nice as he usually seemed? Now, is he any relation to Johnny Crawford? Is that his dad?
I don't think
was that there was a John Crawford in the credits, so I don't know who he was.
Yeah,
Kathy, you have to chime in here and tell us who he was.
Sorry.
Brenda Mudrack said, normal is just a setting on a dryer, and me and my friend are just outside of normal. Inside joke. We remind each other. So, oh, here's a good one for you, Daryn.
By she's the one that got the Hawaii 5-0. She was the first darling. I got to send you some. I have been going. The reason I haven't even been on Facebook lately, I have finally been going through boxes that were boxes decades ago and then have been moved around so much. And with this whole lockdown, whatever we're doing, I've got some fun new pictures. Let me put it that way.
Wow, I'm excited about that.
I know. I got some fun ones. But anyway, I got to send her because she pulled not only the Hawaii 5-0, but how to steal a submarine and the whole episode thing. So congratulations.
They're good. They're little Wikipedias, little Darby Wikipedias. Lisa Buddhist says, Daryn, did you go on Darby's dates? LOL. Did you guys ever double date?
Darby, I'm not allowed to talk about the screaming thing, right?
No.
No, like, no, it's okay. Or no, like, no way.
No. Don't go there. I was coming home from
sure what she's
talking
about.
Oh,
no.
I'm sorry. I just, you must have been
Double
really
date.
good at
We
things like
didn't
that.
really We didn't really double date that much. I mean,
No,
we went to a lot of events together and balls and
Yeah.
openings and red carpets and events around the world. But never romantic dates. We never. I
No.
brought my and you brought your no.
No, but you know what really
I bought
was
her
cool?
boyfriend's car though. Oh, that was the best.
Yes, you
Yes,
did.
oh, I was what? I was 15 or something. And she had this guy and he came out and he made it big in the stock market or whatever. And he didn't think that he should be driving around in this 69 Camaro ragtop hot rod, that he had to get a more suitable car. So for a quick $2,000, I snagged that car from him, and oh, that was sweet.
That was very cool. But what's really cool about my relationship with Darby is what happens with a lot of stars, well, with anybody that's a star, as kids, you don't have a lot of friends because you go to school on the set. Your friend, you don't go to school, so you have no place where you go meet people. And then when you go out and meet people, they're fans, so you don't know if they like you because they like you or they don't. So Darby and I growing up were totally best friends. I mean, going down the Colorado River together, doing this, doing all these wild adventures were like us. So we were like the brother and sister team as best friends. Yeah, when it got later, we never did let's go double dating. I don't know why that it wasn't. I guess I really wasn't into the whole I'm on a date thing. I don't know. But thank you for the question. Yeah.
Pamela Riley Pavkovich says, what an awesome living room. So she's referring back to your life picture a while ago, Darby.
Yeah.
I want to say things though, Darby, my girlfriends did go for him. So, if they disappeared
Not going
from
back
me,
to the screaming thing, are you?
No, I realize I really shouldn't say that. Anyway, but my girlfriends would disappear because they wanted my brother type of thing. So Darby is an amazing, really real, manly man, no bullshit type of person. And
I can fling some if I need to.
Right. But the thing, because we all know how to do that. We know how to manipulate. We know how to do all that because we're born in Hollywood. But the thing is, what we want to be is we want to be our authentic selves. And that's something that we have strived to do and be real and down to earth and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, but he's really quite an awesome person.
Enough about me. Let's get back to the elephant in the room.
Okay, there it is. There's that little Lucille Ball. When Lucille Ball had it, it was like at her thigh type of thing.
It was just the cutest little thing.
Cutest little thing. Because Lucille Ball was friends of ours. We used to travel with her, went to Hawaii with her. We have all those pictures and things like that. Yeah. So mommy watching the show and then saying, oh, that's a cute little elephant, calling on the phone and getting the elephant to her house wasn't a big stretch.
Was Lucille Ball just as funny in real life as she was on the show? Like, was that pretty much her persona?
She was no bullshit. And I find that with my godmother too, Jane Russell. It wasn't all fun and laughter. It was because she ran a big studio. She was like a big deal businesswoman. But boy, was she one of our best comedians that has ever lived to this day.
And Daryn, when I was cleaning stuff up, I have letters that she wrote Mom. And one of them was like, I guess Mom was asking you to come and work. And she was like, no. And, I'm sorry, I don't have anything at the studio right now for you and everything else. I'm like, how dare my mom was reaching out and stuff. And I threw them all away.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that wasn't good. And, you talk about Jane Russell, which is behind Daryn in the yellow. And my son and everything, because I'm like, you're meeting the legendary, I mean, you don't understand, Jane Russell, the whole push-up bra, and then this is the sex symbol of the day. And he walks in and looks and goes, really, Dad? I mean, come on. I'm like, no, wait. So I had to rent and sit him down and show him the Bob Hope one. What was that? I love that one. That she did where she pretended to be his wife and he was the dentist, and somebody will come up with the name of it. But anyway, because I had that same thing. I was going across the studio once and they introduced me to Mae West. And I'd always heard one of the sexiest women alive. Oh, Mae, this is, but she was like, I don't know, in her 80s or whatever. It wasn't long before and I'm looking up going, this is the sexiest thing in the world? What are you talking about? So it was really funny when they came in and saw Jane. I'm like, okay, I get there's a little time shift there.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go through a few of these. So Brenda Mudrack says, those of us who are old timers and have always been a fan of the old movies and old time movie stars and have made a scrapbook knows who you are referring to, Daryn. And I'm only 59, soon to be 60 on the 31st of December. So I wouldn't say no one. Nobody knows who you are talking about. I think there's a lot of people on this list that know who you're talking about. So. And Carla Craybaum says she wants to read your book, Daryn. So you already got one sold. There you go. Christine Distelhorst says, you guys are so down to earth. That tells me that your mom did the best to make sure y'all had some normal childhood, even with all the acting. Did y'all ever wish for a more normal childhood, or did it balance out?
Nope.
I didn't wish for it.
Wouldn't trade a thing.
Unfortunately, Mom, and yes, mom laid a very firm hand and made sure that, she always told me, listen, if you start thinking you're special or better than other kids, I'm kicking your butt off the show. But it was also my sisters. And like I said, Daryn was right there with me and everything. I mean, they also made sure I was grounded and stayed safe and stuff. And here, Daryn said that I didn't show a cute picture of her. Look at that picture.
Oh, with Lassie.
Hey, see, look at that. That's cute.
Okay, I did Lassie.
This has been fun. This has been great. I know we've gone on very long here, haven't we?
No, we still got 10 more minutes, Darby. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
Darby's just ready to wrap it up, I guess. I'm trying to get through other questions here.
Oh, okay. And I did mean that about maybe we'll do that Lion and the Horse with Darcy if we can get poor Darcy on a regular computer.
Oh, technically challenged.
Like, what are you talking about? Let's see. Darby, was there any Lisa Buddhist says, Darby, was there any special episode that made you so happy you could not wait for it to be aired? Do you have a favorite Daniel Boone episode? Oh, well, we kind of watched in the beginning. That was Peachtree and all those that were.
Yeah, I talk about my 4 favorite ones and for different reasons but I don't think any of them were because I couldn't wait to see them air. I mean, I had lived them. So, right. Just doing them was fun. It was never, so I could see it on the TV. I remember my mom was coming into LA and, we're coming over and there were antennas. Everybody had it. No dishes back then, no cable. So everybody had the antennas on top of the roof. And she pointed out and said, you realize you go into all those homes there, right?
Wow.
What do you, no, I didn't realize that. So that was the first time that I kind of got it's all through the air and it's to be played later. I mean, I was doing it at such a young age. I just showed up, went to work, did my job, played with the big boys, tried to get some school in and then go home, learn my lines and come back and do it the next day.
All right, sounds like we're mixed on the theme song that you asked. Stacy Schaefer says the middle years for the theme song. Susan Harlan says I like the original theme song. And I think somebody else had picked one. But Lisa Buddhist says Daryn used less hairspray. LOL. That was so yours could get that wind blown look, I'm sure. And Brenda Mudrack says she thinks it was called hair rock. Is that what they would call it with those bands back in the 80s and stuff?
Big hair band.
Yeah.
It was Aquanet. They would use a can.
Oh, my mother used that.
Aquanet. Yes. Terrible.
Talk about bug. What'd you say? Bug disinfectant? What they spray in insecticide? That's what I always felt like hairnet was.
Well, wait a minute. How many here remember Yard Guard? I remember Mom sending me out to the backyard with that Yard Guard big spray that you were supposed to spray the whole yard with to kill the bugs.
What was that?
I'm sure DDT or some poison.
Yeah, probably wasn't on something good for us. But you turned out okay, Darby.
Yeah, I did.
A few brain cells here and there, but we'll attribute that to the drinking.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was just because of the spray. Yeah. Mhm.
I gotta say, Darby, in that picture behind you, you are the cutest little boy I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I
have never seen that picture. That's why it's.
That was one of the new ones I found. I found whole new boxes of pictures.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
That I hadn't seen before.
Y'all are nuts. Carla Craybaum says there is a lesson here. Should not judge someone by what is worn. It's what's inside. It's all about the heart. So that shall be our Christmas theme. Stacy Schaefer says, oh, no relation. John Crawford and Johnny Crawford, no relation.
I didn't think so.
Carla Craybaum wants to know how your back's feeling, Darby. Is it feeling better?
Much better. Thank you very much. I'm a very good body worker. Picture.
Oh, here you go. John Crawford was Jeremy Kane in this episode, but no relation to Johnny Crawford.
Do you see this picture? This is from Silver Springs, Florida. I was doing some kind of an appearance down there or something. And Mom decided it would be a great idea for a Christmas card. We all dive to the bottom of Silver Springs and wave for we had some of the wildest Christmas cards.
Yes, we did.
Oh.
Do you have all of those? Did you keep them all? Like, do you have a collection of them, or do you is that part of in those boxes?
I'm getting a bunch of them from, I love this time of year. I know there's a lot going on out there, but let's just stick with the Christmas spirit. It's obviously going to be a different Christmas than we've ever had before. But if we keep the good feeling of it, we reach out, thank goodness. We have things like Zoom, and we have things like FaceTime, and even a telephone where we can reach out. So we're not as isolated as we're all feeling. Because I haven't realized what a social animal I really am. How much I do miss getting out there and doing the conventions and meeting people and joking and laughing and having a good time. But we will get through this, and we need to just enjoy it in our own special way, but safely, so we can get all through this and have a good time. And Ginger, I love you. And I thank you for doing this. And I thank you. You're the one that pushed me to even start these in the first place. So
I think I just suggested it and you took the ball and ran with it. So I'm grateful to you for that, because I suggest a lot of things and people go, So I'm grateful that you took the ball and ran with it. And I'm grateful that all your fans and your Darby's darlings and dudes have been so supportive with their amazing questions and information and have been so on board. We have 27 here tonight. I think we were up to 31 at one point.
Yeah,
so that's probably one of our best attended ones. So Daryn, you're a good draw, Daryn.
That's it. That's it. And I love my sis, and I thank you so much for all the years and for coming and doing this with me. And my heart's with you all the time. You know that. You and your hubby and all your birds. When she says she doesn't have children too, she has birds and she has other kids and cats and other animals.
Yeah, I chose not to have kids, but I really did. The rock groups are just as much trouble. And now their kids are having kids and they're like, so I have grandkids, I guess. I don't know.
And she's godmother to a lot of them and
a lot of people.
Too, so.
But I want to say to everybody, awesome. God bless you. Have an amazing Christmas season and enjoy. And virtual hugs are where it all is, but just know that you're loved even from above. Okay.
Love you.
Love you.
I guess on that note, so sorry for the rest of these questions. I didn't get a chance to read comments, but Unless you want to wait 2 seconds, I'll blow through them really quick.
Go ahead, blow through them. I don't
Okay.
want to.
I didn't mean them in a bad way. Tammy says, awesome to hear about your super interesting childhoods. Thanks to Daryn and Darcy for playing with us D&Ds, meaning darlings and dudes. Wonderful episode 2. But wait, screaming? So we may have to have you back on, Daryn, to explain the screaming comment.
We had a great ending. We could have just ended it right there.
Wait. Let me keep going. We'll finish. Don't worry, we'll finish.
But no, Ginger, you got to take it a little bit further.
It's in the middle of it. Lisa Boone says,
me too. It's
When
my
we-
girlfriend.
Getting hot here. I got to take this sweater off here pretty soon.
when we met Darby in Memphis, he did a cute thing with his hands and dropped his beer. He turned red. LOL. Uh-oh. I don't know. We'll have to, hopefully that'll be another day. Daniel Boone watch party. Movie is Paleface with Jane Russell and Bob Hope.
Thank you very much. Great movie.
So thank you, whoever's Daniel Boone watch party.
Come on. When she comes out finally in the leathers and the chaps and a 6-shooter on each side, Jane's pretty hot. Oh, Daryn, I got to share it with you. I won't share with other people online, but I just found one of Jane. Well, Jane was a very big Christian too, and a very big Christian way.
Huge.
And she wrote me, and I have hers, and I didn't throw that away because it was with such love. But she gave me a reading, and I have that, and I found that, and I will keep that.
It's a prophecy, Darby. It's not a reading in the Christian
Sorry.
world.
I'm
okay?
see, my sister has to keep me straight on this.
Well, you do make it sound kind of like a little hinky there. So, and we'd like to think Christianity's not a hinky thing.
Well, I was just very sweet. She took the time and said, "Here, this came to me, and you need to hear this."
Yeah,
that's very sweet. A lot about my inner child and stuff. It was great.
Oh wow, Lisa Buddhist. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Daryn.
No. It's really a trip because Katy Perry, I used to go up all the time to my godmother's little Bible studies, which were like 5 people in her house. And Katy Perry's mom was the one that put them on. And so, and Katy, I would go to her little church, and my niece actually remembers that I threw her up against a wall and said, "You're going to be huge one day." She's just a little cute, round kid with blonde hair. Yeah, Jane Russell, her mom used to be the one that headed up her little group meetings in her house for Bible study. 5-6 people. Anyway, I don't know how that came up, but it was.
Because he said
Like I said, unlike the Lucille Ball letters, I will definitely keep Jane's because they were also very, very sweet. And
Yes, I want to see all of them.
okay.
All right. Lisa Buddhist says Silver Springs is still there. Charles Brown says no question. Just wanted to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Charles. Susan Harlan said time for another snapshot album book. So there you go, Darby.
I have
the next one.
To fill one, that's for sure.
Carla Craybaum says this has been so enjoyable. The Daniel Boone episode was so appropriate for the Christmas season. It has been a great day. Been baking all day and now the viewing party. Thank you, Darby, Daryn, and Ginger. Merry Christmas. Love you all.
Oh, thank you.
Brenda Mudrack says, Darby, are you still afraid to have your sisters on? I thought they did great. They were awesome.
They're sweet. Darcy was holding back a lot. I don't know. Something was.
Well, she was up in outer space. Who believed what she was saying anyway? No, just kidding. Susan Harlan says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all. Julie Snyder says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Brenda Mudrack, have a Merry Christmas all. Julie Snyder, love your Silver Springs photo, Darby. Pam Gauss says, thanks so much for this. Happiest of holidays to you all. And here's one final question. Sue McDonald asked, is the family house still standing? And have you been back to see the house?
It's still standing. But when I had it and when I got married, my first wife's family
You don't need to go there.
was panicked about the pool and what if a kid falls in it and stuff. And I said, I grew up here. I just learned how to swim before I could learn how to walk and everything. But to kind of smooth things over, the pool got filled in and everything else. And then.
And it became a normal house where they took out all the jungle and made it like roses and things.
What year was
my
that?
sister, you can tell
What
my
year was
sister
that?
very happy with it. What?
What year was that?
I don't know. I don't know years. I don't even know dates. What's going on?
Why is that with us?
I know. I know. Listen, it had to be 27, 29 years ago, something like that. 30 years ago.
It was after Days of Our Lives. That's for sure.
You didn't live anywhere near David Dortort, did you? Up in Bel Air?
It was 1234 Bel Air Road. That's the main.
Were there a ton of...
As a kid, they used to think I was lying. You know, if you had to like talk to an officer or something, because I was out by myself. And where do you live? 123 Bel Air Road. 1234.
What was your phone number?
I can't say that because it's the code to some of my things. I'll have to change it.
Oh,
the phone number was just about as easy. Let me say that.
Well, you can say 3456, and we don't have to say what the other stuff was.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. But that was our phone number, and that was our address.
Yeah.
That's funny. Those were the good old days. Well, I guess on that note, I can't thank you enough, Darby, nor can I thank you, Daryn, enough for everything you guys have done for the industry and for hosting this tonight. You guys are
next
hilarious.
is Christmas Eve, so obviously not then,
Yeah.
and then the New Year's and stuff. So we'll do something coming out. So everybody have a fabulous holiday, and
we'll plan our second season, Darby.
Here's to a wonderful 2021.
Everybody, you are totally awesome. All of you, we can feel your energy. You're magnificent. You're incredible. And have an amazing season. Christmas.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Merry Christmas. Be kind to each other, and we will see you in the new year. Good night.